Hi, thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching BQ Prime, and my name is Alex Matthew. We're headed into an earnings conversation. We're in conversation with the management of Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers. Commodore P.R. Hari, the chairman and managing director, is joining in. Commodore Hari, thank you so much for taking the time. And now I see that the revenues are up as much as 10.7%. PAT is up as much as 17.2% for the quarter gone by. But I'll leave it to you to give us the operational highlights for the key projects that you are involved in. By my understanding, there were 6 key projects that you were working on. So what's the status update?
Thank you, Alex. At the outset, yes, the financial performance has been good. Now, I will take the full year. FY23, as far as the company is concerned, has been the best in terms of financial performance, with our total income going up by over 45% from 1,918 crores to 2,763 crores. And the bottom line has gone up by 20%. The PAT going up from 188 crores to 228 crores. So this in a nutshell gives us the confidence to move ahead considering our order book and our execution strategy. As far as the projects that we are executing currently are concerned, our total order book is it stands as on 31st March 23 at 25,111 crores, comprising, as you rightly said, of 6 projects, 4 for the Indian Navy, comprising of 19 warships, 3 P-17 Alpha advanced frigates, 4 survey vessel large, 8 anti-submarine shallow water crafts, and 1 project that we concluded a contract with Navy on the second last day of the last financial year for around 3,500 crores. That's for 4 ships of the NGOPV. That is the next generation ocean-going patrol vessel. In addition to this, we are executing 2 more projects, one for the government of Bangladesh and one for the government of West Bengal. Now, coming to the naval projects. The P-17 Alpha project, the first ship is right now at around 50% of construction, with the second ship very closely following around 45% and the third fast catching up. The launch of the third and the last vessel of the project is planned during the current financial year. These projects we plan to, these ships of the P-17 Alpha, we plan to deliver between 2025 and 26. That is calendar year 2025 and calendar year 2026. It will spill over to the first quarter of FY27. And as regards the survey vessel large project is concerned, the first ship of the 4-ship project is currently undergoing trials. And we intend delivering this ship 3 months down the line. We are also, as per our project execution strategy, 1 more ship of this project is planned to be delivered during the current financial year, and the last 2 in the next financial year. The anti-submarine shallow water craft project, the first ship we plan to deliver this year, followed by 2 ships every year, and this will go on till 2026. NGOPV project would stretch thereafter, which means the current order book would see us through till FY 28-29. Also, happy to inform you that in addition to these orders, we have just signed a contract with the Indian Navy yesterday for it's approximately 250 crores worth project for 10 naval standard guns. So GRSC's USP has been product diversity, and we are just taking this to one notch up with gun manufacturing.
Understood.
In addition, we also concluded a contract, rather an MOU with Border Roads Organization for 30 modular steel bridges. For information, we at the current market conditions, we own around 65 to 70% of the Indian market for portable steel bridges. So this contract will give us further headway in this direction. So this in a nutshell is our order book and our project execution strategy.
Yes. In fact, I wanted you to lay that out for context so that we could delve a little deeper into some of these aspects. Your order book at the end of last quarter stood at, or rather the December quarter stood at 22,242 crores. So therefore, there are new orders that you've added. Could you give us some details on that?
Yes. Last, as you rightly said, it was around 22,200 crores at the end of the last quarter. After that, in addition to what we have executed during this period of 3 months, we got a fresh order of approximately 3,500 crores for four next generation ocean-going petrol vessels, four of these vessels. So that added on to our order book, and the net order value as on 31st is at 24,000 crores.
Oh, so this is the one in which you were an L2 bidder that you were expecting by the
Yes.
end of the quarter
Yes.
that came
Yes.
in. Also want
Yes.
to confirm this order with the Cooperative Republic of Guyana that was completed. I believe at the end of
Okay.
last quarter
Yes.
it was
Yes.
on the way to
Yes.
Guyana.
Yes, two projects we completed during the last financial year.
Yeah.
One was a fast petrol vessel project for the Indian Coast Guard, completed ahead of schedule. And of course, the project that you just mentioned, the passenger cum cargo vessel for the government of Guyana. This vessel was delivered again ahead of schedule at Guyana. This was a very prestigious moment for our nation, as this is perhaps the first vessel of this kind. And for information, this is the largest vessel that Guyana has got, that India has delivered for them. And this, as from the GRC perspective, it also opens up a market for us in the commercial shipbuilding sector.
Okay. Specifically with regard to the timelines that you have described, the P-17 Alpha frigates, and you've told us the level of completion of the 3 frigates that you're building for the Indian Navy. But then from what you said at the end of last quarter, there seems to be a shift in the timelines, because I believe you had said FY25 was when you expect to finish it, and now you're saying that is getting pushed by a couple of years. Why is that? Am
Absolutely
I mistaken?
no. Last time, I will just repeat. The first vessel was planned to be delivered in August 25.
Okay.
And the second vessel 6 months down the lane, and the third vessel 6 months further down the lane.
Understood.
So in a nutshell, in a span, that means from August 25 to August 26, all these 3 ships are planned to be delivered.
Understood.
This is a seven ship project, as you are aware. 4 of them being executed by the Mazagon docks and 3 of them by GRC. So our first ship, we are targeting August 25. We stand by the date as of today.
Okay, and it's your objective to have an ongoing order book of 25,000 crores, and all of this will culminate, as you say, in 2027 or maybe around that time. But there are several orders that are coming up as well, and among them, one that I had written down was the OPV project, which you've already won. The other one that is coming up is the next generation corvette. Could you give us a sense of the orders that could come up? You've said that 100 platforms could be expected over the next 3 to 5 years, with a conservative estimate of 82,000 crore rupees that could come up. How much can
Absolutely.
you claim from that?
Okay. God bless you, because we would like this 25,000 crore steady orders. As we execute, fresh orders should come in. That is our aim also. Now, as far as the orders which are on the anvil, there is a 14 FPV project for the Coast Guard, Indian Coast Guard, for which the RFP is already out. And we expect whoever wins the order to get the contract concluded by the end of this financial year. Coast Guard has also got an RFP out for 6 ocean-going petrol vessels. Again, by end of this financial year, the order could get completed. That value could be approximately 3,500 to 4,000 crores. Now, coming to the big ticket item, the next generation corvettes, which we are eagerly looking forward for the RFP. As I reiterate, considering our expertise and experience as the only Indian shipyard to have delivered 9 corvettes which are in active service with the Indian Navy, we have the capability. So we would be bidding appropriately. In our appreciation, the RFP is likely to come out during the second half of the next year, that is 2024, second half of the calendar year 2024. So the order of fructification to this project is going to be divided between L1 and L2 as per the RFP, would be RFP conditions. So 5 ships for the L1 and 3 ships for the L2. And this will be divided over the overall total of 36,000 crores. So this is a big ticket item that we are eagerly looking forward to. In addition to this, the Navy is expected to come out with follow-on P-17 Alpha ships as they require this kind of warships to sustain their operational capability. In addition, there are around 120 fast interceptor boats for which the RFP is already out. 21 waterjet FACs. Again, one of our niche products, as again the leading Indian shipyard for delivery of waterjet FACs and fast petrol vessels. We have delivered over 33 platforms till date. So 21 waterjet FACs again on the anvil. So in a nutshell, what I stated during the last interaction stands good. Things are moving in the right direction for around 45 each platforms, excluding the 120 FIBs between Coast, 45 each between Coast Guard and the Navy, expected to come out and leading to order fructification in the next 3 to 5 years, with the RFPs likely to come out in the next 2 to 3 years. Some of them already started flowing.
Okay. I also want to get a sense of how much you're confident of getting. You've given conservative estimates and outsize estimates of the total order value of these. But then, of course, it's a competitive process. You must have planned ahead in anticipation of some of this to give your investors a bit of an idea of the best case scenario for your company, or if you can give us a conservative estimate of what you feel confident of getting.
See, it's I'll just give a little background. There are 4 different shipyards, one Cochin shipyard, another PSU shipyard. There are 5 of us from the government segment, L&T, a couple of more private players. So the field, I'm only looking at the major platforms, that is FPV and above, and narrows down to these 7 players.
Yeah, for 7 players.
Right. Each has got 7 players. So each has got 6 to 7 players. I'd put it like this. Each has got certain strengths, certain weaknesses, certain capacities. We are all aware of, each is aware of the other's capacity and the constraints. And to put it in I certainly would not be able to give you both the estimates, but I'll give you a general idea. The total order value, I'll just go to the conservative bracket. Let us take 85,000 crore orders likely to come up in the next 3 to 5 years. Mental calculation, any one of us could get a even pie.
Understood. Okay, fair enough. Now, I will come to a couple of other things that I had to ask you as well, because you said that diversification is a strategy for you. I want to understand about the diesel engines division and whether there's any progress there, because you're working with Rolls-Royce and you have, as I understand it, been assembling, but you're moving towards a licenseship agreement and you expected that to take 6 to 9 months to fructify. Is there an update there?
Yes. During our last interaction, I had mentioned, because by then we had concluded an MOU with Rolls-Royce for localization of high-speed medium power diesel engines. Yes, it is moving in the right direction. And from then 6 to 9 months is what I had stated. We are moving in the right direction and we expect to conclude the license agreement during the current calendar year.
Okay.
And what we expect from this particular project is that, just to give you an idea, that most of the ships of the smaller segment, I put the fast attack craft, the FICs, fast interceptor crafts, they all are ideally suited for these kind of engines. So the business potential in this segment is very high. That is the reason why we went in for a collaborative arrangement with Rolls-Royce. To answer your question, yes, it is moving in the right direction. We expect to conclude the license agreement soon.
Okay.
Now, again, on the point of diversification, I had mentioned about
the bridges,
the guns.
Yes, and the guns.
The bridges. Yeah. Yes, the bridges. Bridges. We have come out with a new product. Of course, not this year. We had come out in the last year, which posed successful trials. Now, this is the product for, it's a double line modular bridge for which we have signed an MOU with the Border Roads Organization. Last year, that is, I think February 22 or March 22, we had signed for 30 bridges. And on 7th of May, this year we have signed for another 30 bridges. So this gives us a good visibility with respect to the BD bridges segment. And we are also looking for new products in this segment to give us a little more mileage with respect to the market share. Now, coming to the guns, that is a very interesting project for us. So we are just coining a press release saying I wanted to put the title as warships to weapons. So warships definitely we build. Guns is something which we are venturing into. This is in line with the government of India's thrust for Make in India.
Right.
And perhaps we are the first Indian shipbuilder to move in this direction of getting into the gun arena. Of course, it's a collaborative effort which we expect to succeed in the next 1 to 1.5 years.
Fantastic. You know, I like to think that this platform is educative as well as informative. And I think a lot of our viewers would be keen to understand how your company and how the space in fact works. People that are not too familiar, Commodore, with the defense space and defense manufacturing. So could you very briefly explain to those viewers how revenue recognition of these projects, these are long gestation projects that take time to build, highly involved, highly technical, but how does revenue recognition take place over the life cycle of the project?
Very interesting question, and thank you for this opportunity, because many a time our investors or the viewers are not fully given the opportunity to understand the shipbuilding cycle. In a conventional shipbuilding cycle, there are 4 phases. One is I'm talking from contract to completion. First is the preparatory phase, where the design activities progress. There is a preparatory phase when the design of the ship is finalized. That is when the commercial activities commence, as in placement of orders for equipment, the yard material, and so on. And the next phase is the production stage. So this phase is where when a ship is a structure which comprises of steel or the material that with which it is made of. Let us take steel. So the steel plate cutting is the first of the production activities. Then these plates get converted to panels, and the panels get assembled as units. The units gets assembled into blocks. These blocks are manufactured in multiple areas within the shipyard or our partners' premises. Then these blocks are consolidated in the berth where the ship is going to be constructed, where it takes its final hull form. That is called the building berth or a dry dock, where the block consolidation happens and the ship takes its form. Once the ship takes its complete form and certain pre-launch equipment are lowered onto the ship is launched onto the water, where we call ships a she, where the ships are launched onto water to test the integrity and stability performance of the ship. After that, the equipment which were lowered and the equipment which are yet to come are lowered and thereafter integrated, buttoned up into a full-fledged ship. Then this comes the third phase. One is the pre-production phase. Second is the phase from production commencement to launch. The third phase is where the integration and outfitting happens. It moves on to up to trials and acceptance phase. The last phase is a trials and acceptance phase. Before a ship is put to sea for a full-fledged contractor's trials, she undergoes harbor trials to prove the equipment performance in harbor. After that, the ship moves on to sea, conducts the trials and acceptance. Now coming to the revenue recognition. As far as the ship cost is concerned, let us say 5,000 crore project. As you rightly said, some of the naval projects, if it's a small ship, it is 2 to 3 years. If it's a big ship, it could be 4 to 6 years and so on. Let us take a 5,000 crore project. Now, in a 5,000 crore project, the cost is divided into equipment, yard material, and labor. That is the yard effort. Now, equipment cost is the maximum. That comes to around 65%, and in some cases, a weapon-intensive platform, it could even touch 70%. The yard material, when I say yard material, that is steel, then the fasteners, the insulation, and so on, which regularly used for shipbuilding, comes to around 10 to 15%. The balance is the yard effort, that is the labor, the subcontract costs, and so on. Now, the initial phase, now coming back to the revenue recognition, your specific question on revenue recognition. The initial preparatory phase, where the design activities have progressed, the equipment ordering is progress, that time the revenue recognition is very, very minimal. It is only the manpower booking happens and so on, and the design cost and so on. So we follow a typical S-curve for shipbuilding with respect to revenue recognition. So the first phase, when the preparatory phase, there is hardly any revenue recognition. Then the next phase is where the plate cutting, the block fabrication, and so on. Here, effectively, only the steel goes in. Here again, the revenue recognition, it forms the next step of the S. Then comes the phase where the maximum revenue recognition happens. That is between 40 to 65% of physical progress of a ship, where the equipment get pumped onto the ship. And that is where the revenue recognition is maximum. Then goes to when the S peters out, the last phase of the project, where the acceptance and trials go on. Fantastic. So this in a nutshell gives a shipbuilding cycle.
Fantastic. I think that's going to be useful for us as well as our viewers. Just to leave us with something, sir, for the current financial year, based on everything that you've told us, what can we anticipate in terms of revenue growth? Any other parameters that you can tell us about?
See, we have a healthy order book. Some of our projects are in the phase that I was just mentioning. That is a 40 to 65% where maximum revenue recognition happens. So in the earlier interaction, actually, not even the last interaction, the earlier interaction during the first quarter of FY23, I had mentioned that we are on an upward trajectory. I reiterate that statement, we are on an upward trajectory with respect to revenue recognition, because the projects in that kind of production maturity, and we have a very, very clear execution strategy. So I'm repeating what I mentioned earlier at the cost of repetition. FY24, 25, and 26 are going to be our peak years.
Fantastic. Okay.
You know the order book value, so that's it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time. Pleasure speaking with you on BQ Prime.
My pleasure. Thank you.